Hey there, everyone. This is Andre, and I'm just following up the other discussion I did for Roe v. Wade aftermath. And it's because I'm seeing and noticing some things through different social media outlets, through people. Now, I understand everybody has their feelings, and I'm not trying to say that your feelings aren't important, that you shouldn't have the feelings that you have, and you shouldn't think the things that you think. But I would like to propose a different perspective on these types of situations because all too often I will see situations boil down to, well, you don't get what you want, so ha ha. Because when I was struggling and I was having problems, you said fuck you to me. So now I'm going to say the same back to you. Now, while I agree pettiness is awesome at times, this is one of those situations where it may not be the time to be petty. Now, I do get that there are some people that have been putting out warnings for this for a long time, and they just are at the point where they need a break because it's now finally settling in with some people where things are going. But this isn't the time to be divisive to other people and start arguments and fights with them because what they wanted to happen didn't happen and what you wanted to happen did. Mostly because there's more on the horizon that people are completely ignoring. I mean, I've laid out a couple things already with the last discussion, but there's more on the horizon. And again, sometimes looking at the one thing that you don't like and focusing on that pulls you away from seeing all of the other things that can be taken from you that you aren't looking at. Because some of those things are linked to the thing that you don't like. Like I said before, it's going to be difficult to try to take the money and power away from those who already have it because they're already networked into everything. Whether it's in the United States or in another country, they're already networked in. They're already making their money off of it no matter where you spend it. Because they're part of different systems. Because they were smart enough to think, hey, what can I do long term to ensure that I can still make revenue even if people turn against me? So they already had that plan in place. It'd be foolish to think otherwise. So yeah, you may get a few things to change here and there, but that doesn't mean you're going to get what you exactly need or want. Problem is also having that mentality. Being divided means that we can't come together as a group to work on a goal together. Because if we're always arguing and fighting with each other and being petty with each other, then we can't at all come to any sort of agreements because we'll always be ready to antagonize. I mean, I I will admit, I do like to troll and be petty for fun because I like to find the comedy in it, but I don't do it on a personal level. I know there are plenty of people who don't do it on a personal level, but depending on the type of thing that you're talking about, it can become very personal to people, and then that will make them disregard what you have to say, disregard listening to you. Just like with the situation with abortion, and you hear statements as a guy, you hear statements, well, if you don't have a uterus, you shouldn't be able to talk. I liken that to be, well, if you're not a black person, you shouldn't be allowed to talk on these issues that happen. I don't think that that's a good way to, one, build trust and community. Two, you may just be skipping over points that may work for you because you don't want to listen to the source it's coming from. Just like there are plenty of white scholars and people out there who have been warning about this for years and talking about this stuff for years, they got ignored by the black community because they weren't the right skin tone. That's the same thing when it came down to this with the abortion. Well, because you don't have a uterus, you don't have a say. Problem is, the same people who took away the rights were the ones that gave them to you. Let that sink in. They're the same ones that took the people who gave you those rights are the same ones that took them away from you. Not the exact same people, but they're of the same family lines. They're of the same caliber. They're the same types of people. Those are the same people who technically abolished open slavery outside of the prison system. You have to realize that. That's something that has to be understood. Does it make it right? No. Don't agree with it. And hey, taking away the right to abortion, again, I don't agree with all situations that abortions happen in, but I'm not in control of those particular types of body parts. So I can only give a limited perspective. So many things I would say or think would have to be taken with a grain of salt until I learn more. Just like if there's a scholar who does African history and they happen to be white, Hispanic, Asian, I'm not going to discard what they have to say just because of their appearance. I'm going to at least listen to see if there's some substance to what they're saying. If there isn't, then I will deem them a source that isn't credible because you can research the things that they tell you. You can research the things that they talk about. Just like I pointed to the books, The Birth Dearth and The National Sunday Law. I think those are very important reads, especially right now. Read those books, and a lot of things will actually become very clear. But if you don't and you choose to remain ignorant of things, then you can't be mad at someone trying to give you information. Hell, actually, there was a statement made a long time ago. I don't remember who it was that made this quote, but the statement goes as follows, especially for those in the black community. You put it in a book, a black person won't read it. Now, that's not the exact quote. I'm pretty sure there was a more derogatory word used there, but that does remain largely true because people don't want to educate themselves on things and they want to make assumptions and talk about stuff before really diving into a subject. I will always admit when I have limited scope on things because I don't want someone to think that I'm an expert on it. You want to talk about technology? I know a little bit. You want to talk about gaming? For the most part, I know a lot. You want to talk about comic books and art and stuff? I have acceptable knowledge on those things. This is why I don't dive into politics because I don't know the world of all those policies and things. I just know as a person what looks right to me and what looks wrong to me. There shouldn't be a point in this world where someone can tell you who you should be able to love, who you should be able to be with, who you should be able to find happiness with. And that's the direction we're going. That's one of many things that are coming because it's already been put out what certain representatives and people in politics want to look at and potentially overturn. Segregation is up for grabs. And I think of all of the mixed children that have been born since then, what that's going to mean for them. Are they going to just be lumped in one side automatically? Or are they going to have a choice and be told then at that point, this is who you are and this is all you can be because this is what's been decided for you? So this isn't the time to be arguing and being petty with each other. This is the time to try to work together, find out how we can fix things if there's a way that they can be fixed and do something about it. Otherwise, you're just going to feed into the system that's already taking everything away from you, whether you know it or not, and whether you care or not. But that's all I got to say for the moment.